Greetings and welcome to the energy of Scorpio. The eighth house is now open. This is a reading from Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. This is Tarot of the Twin Sun is a functional division within the order of the Twin Sun. Please take only what you will. We'll go ahead and begin with a karmic reading that has to do with resonances or energetic sort of repositories of what is going on in the month of September 2022 for the energy of Scorpio. So when we're dealing with this, firstly, I would like to look 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, into the 10th house, which has been opened up by the Lion's Gate on the 8th of August 2022. So this is you're probably going to be watching this about a month in advance of that and beyond. But the Lion's Gate it holds a degree of such a weight and complexity when it comes to the gateway of what we are trying to manifest. Okay, if you are trying to manifest indeed, what happens is that there is a glimpse or a window that has happened last month that is actually sort of being fleshed out in terms of the solar energy in Leo and beyond. Okay, and with the movement from the 5 to the 6 houses, eliciting sort of culmination in your 10th house. Okay, I got to count that again. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, it's in your 10th house. And with this, there is essentially a vision that allows for, with the activation of the South Node in Scorpio, a great deal of karmic resonance that can be expressed in the physical realm around you. It also can be sort of fleshed out in terms of your own work, your idea of what is representative in some sort of socialism, whether that be business or whether that be some sort of community. The 10th house is grossly sort of representative of karmic resonances that we have to deal with in this reality that become represented through what we externalize, how we project our mind into manifestations that come about in gross realities of this world. Okay, and that's something that you've been having to deal with. What you're dealing with essentially is also maybe a new way to creatively inspire oneself into a new form of work or a new line of karmic sort of bringing, whatever that means. Eight, 9, 10. Okay, so what I see here is the joy of letting go something and embracing immediate communities. Okay, friendliness is the theme for this month. And there's an ability to understand that even though we are all connected in terms of a greater source energy, the communities around us, they can sort of physically embody a neighborly complex, a neighborly sort of familiarity. And it is from such a place that boundaries can be respected as well. There is an element of respect, a degree of respect that is coming on in terms of auspiciousness. This month in particular is auspicious for finding a form of respect that comes through easiness, that comes through an ease, or a type of grace that comes from primarily humanitarian design, the ability to become lax or perhaps easy is very much here on the cards. There also is a possibility of cutting off and becoming very distant from the past. Any past connections, especially if you're dealing with someone in a significant degree. where there is a clear cooling off within that. It's like embracing the changes of an Aquarian design. Okay, that has to do with attachment as well as ingenuity, innovation in terms of your socialisms, and there's an ability also to find truth by disconnecting from any past resonances. Okay, and I rather like this. There also is a possibility of a distant horizon that speaks of a new and perhaps virginal thing that is coming up, that's floating around the horizon. You have to be able to fixate less and to also shift your head more in order to find the horizon. The horizon line is usually to the left or right of us, usually. And that's just what I'm seeing in terms of energetic repose. We're moving now into the Great Mirror, and the Great Mirror is a tool devised by the Order of the Twin Sun in order to see particular karmas that may exist between the energy of the 8th house and the 2nd house. As it pertains to you, you would fulfill the role and the purpose of transmutation and alchemy that comes through Plutonic and Martian energies that represent the sort of exquisite corpus of Scorpio. That is their MO, that is how they find their strength. It is through the transformational qualities of the Persephone myth as well, of anything that has to do with the search for gold, the search for the creation of gold through alchemy. And that's the irony, is that the people that you tend to bring in terms of significance, in terms of others, they embody in a very strong way the 2nd house. Okay, what is the 2nd house? 2nd house is our most immediate resources. It also is our reality and our most immediate realm. So they embody this, and if you are a true alchemist, then you can bring them the gold. Let's see here. And these are all, of course, metaphoric in nature. It doesn't have to be literal gold. Let's see here. So, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So Saturn is coming in strong with the Devil card. There's also Capricorn's energy. There's the idea of creating a structure within that would help to bind you in some way, shape, or form, bind to another. So this reading primarily is fundamentally brought about through devotion, where the day becomes the night becomes the day. It has to do with cycles. It has to do with the reflective qualities of the sun to the moon, full moon energy primarily. Okay, so this speaks about a bond that is, it's sort of, it speaks about a bond that is very binding in nature. Okay, this is a rather intense connection. It doesn't surprise me, considering the nature and the degree of Scorpio, to actually reflect some form of connection. Any form of connection with the Scorpio is essentially embryonic in nature. It has a very strong tethering effect. But what I do see here is primarily the energy of Virgo coming in strong. The ability to self-reflect and also to find some sort of methodological practice, a way of doing things. Okay, that has to do with the finding of the self. Okay, through the 6th house. That's primarily what is being taking the forefront here. With the Hermit card on the conscious plane for Scorpio, Mercury is highly activated. And essentially, with this graha, with this planet Mercury, it helps to deliver a type of insight that is of an intellectual degree. It has to do with what we can master, how we can come about with formulations of the mind that become representative of our own expression. Okay. It also speaks about the purification or the curational properties of Mercury that allow for the gateway to the third or the sixth houses. Okay. What does this mean? It means that there is a perfectionist quality about how you self-represent yourself that comes in isolation, and within this particular mirror reading, it comes across as you looking as someone who's very isolated as well as on a different path, okay, from whomever you're dealing with. At the same time, this person represents a connection that cannot be easily severed. There is a very strong sense of order that you find from them, and as you move away from them on your path of isolation within the hermit archetype, there is an ability for you to find great insights. At the same time, you are leaving the order. It's as if you are a monk that has left the order, okay, within this connection. And it could be a monk, it could be also a priestess of some sort, but what I see here is essentially a falling out within that order. It doesn't mean that it's a negative thing. There's something here about it not working out on a conscious level. There's an ability for both of you to create a sense of home together, but at the same time, it falls apart. It falls apart because of the Five of Rods. What is being manifested here is clarity of mind to the T, in which the way you spell out the situation, you want to have clear definition with the language you're using. There's also a possibility of clarity coming through what this represents in terms of anything that you would write down. It would become very clear. There's a dialogue here that comes from the inner realm that wants to make itself known. It comes from observing the 12th house, the abstractions of potentialities in terms of the glorification of Venus, in terms of the 7th house, and the ability to essentially reify all these abstractions and concentrate them into a logic of some sort, to find logic. The idea here is also to find balance and what has been missing in terms of balance, to find a sense of what has been on your horizon according to the pre-read. It's the ability also to know that it's not only at the ground you're looking at in front of you, it's also in the periphery. If you're looking for the sun and you're in the dark path, chances are it's going to be on the horizon, which is usually, it has to do with the shifting in perspective, looking left or right or turning around. So all that esoteric intensity aside, what I see here primarily is the ability to let the fire go. There's an anger here that needs to be expressed, but it doesn't want to be. This person also, they carry the fire. They carry the fire within the connection. You encapsulate it in such a way with the hermit that you perhaps have objectified this person, and maybe they don't respect that. There also is something, it doesn't have to be so, but there also something here about a form of communication that has to do with conflict and resolution that may be on the horizon. It may be. It doesn't have to be. At the same time, there's a boredom about this, something about the high priestess on the horizon. There's a type of boredom about this. I don't know. What I see also is authenticity, sincerity, the idea to also be wise, and all of this is very much within the bridge. The wise choice needs to be made in terms of communication. I think there's a possibility also of an entrepreneurial quality in which you may feel that what they can't give keeps them in balance. What they can't give also is something that you don't want to seek. Very strange way of saying it. So what they can't give is something that you don't want to seek. What they can't give, what they cannot give, is something that you don't want to seek. I said that 3 times. There also is a possibility of the 8 of Cups and the 9. Yeah, there's also a possibility of them leaving up obligations in order for this to work. I don't know. This is kind of all over the place. Ultimately, we have the car of dissension, the chariot in the reverse. So this speaks of two different paths. Not walking on the same path. You going on your own, and finding a viable sort of way to embody this, okay? Meaning that this type of situation allows you to understand the dynamics of human interaction by encapsulating it in such a way and expressing it on a medium of your own. It becomes your path of initiation, your path of, what would you call it, your rite of passage. It becomes your rite of passage. And you're able to take this fire that they give you, or that they sort of represent, and to encapsulate it in such a way to impart it to others. Okay, that's the best I can do with this. I do wish you well. Bye bye.